My dear friends, there comes a time when you have to stop waiting for permission to be great. A moment when you realize that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you dream of. You have to go get it. You have to wake up every morning and choose yourself. Choose your vision. Choose your future. Because if you don't, distractions will choose for you. This is the year you stop letting fear keep you comfortable. The year you stop making excuses for why you can't, why you shouldn't, why it's not your time yet. It is your time, not because the world says so, but because you've decided that it is. Too often, we give everyone else VIP access to our minds, our hearts, our energy, and then wonder why we feel drained, confused, and disconnected from our purpose. Not everyone is supposed to have a front row seat in your life. Some people are just passing through, but you're treating them like they belong in your destiny. This is the year you get intentional about who and what you allow into your space. Some days you won't feel like pushing forward, and that's okay. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline will carry you when emotions can't. You don't have to feel like it to do it. You just have to be committed enough to move even when it's hard. And while you're moving, remember this: your past does not have the power to dictate your future unless you let it. The pain, the mistakes, the moments you thought you'd never recover from, they were chapters, not the whole story. And God is still writing. You don't need validation to pursue what's been placed in your heart. Your dream, your vision, your calling, it was given to you, not to them. Stop trying to make sense of it for people who were never meant to understand it. Stop waiting for approval to walk in what's already yours. Faith is beautiful, but faith without work is just a wish. It's a time to stop hoping and start doing. You want change. Be the change. You want growth. Start stretching. You want elevation. Let go of the weight that's holding you down. Every step, no matter how small, is a step forward. Stay in motion. Stay consistent. Stay locked in on your assignment. And when it gets tough, don't let frustration make you forfeit your promise. Some things take time. Some doors are being prepared for you even as you wait. Delays are not denials. Keep pushing, keep believing, keep building. There is a time for everything, and your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Too often, we look around and measure our progress against someone else's timeline as if success is a race and we're somehow falling behind. But what if you're not behind at all? What if you're exactly where you need to be, learning what you need to learn, preparing for what's coming next? Every season of your life has a purpose. And when you truly understand that, you stop rushing through the process and start embracing it. There will be seasons of building where you're planting seeds but see no harvest yet. There will be seasons of isolation where God pulls you away from distractions so you can hear Him clearly. There will be seasons of stretching where discomfort forces you to grow in ways you never thought possible. And then there will be seasons of reaping where everything you've worked for starts to align. But you can't skip steps. You can't force a season to move faster than it's meant to. When you resist where you are, you miss the beauty of it. You miss the lessons, the growth, the preparation. The frustration you feel isn't because you're in the wrong place. It's because you haven't fully trusted that this place has something valuable for you. You keep thinking that joy, fulfillment, and success will come once you reach the next stage. But if you don't learn to embrace where you are now, you'll always feel like something is missing. The version of you that will walk in your destiny is being shaped in this very moment. Everything that's happening now is preparing you for what's next. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll step into your power. Distractions don't always come in loud, obvious forms. Sometimes they show up as people who mean well but pull you away from your purpose. Sometimes they come in the form of habits that feel comforting but keep you stagnant. And sometimes the biggest distraction is your own mind overthinking, doubting, procrastinating, entertaining thoughts that have no business taking up space in your head. You can't afford to let distractions steal another year from you. This is the time to get intentional about protecting your focus. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every battle needs your response. You have to be able to recognize what's pulling you away from your goals and have the discipline to shut it down. That might mean creating distance from people who drain you instead of pushing you forward. It might mean cutting back on social media, limiting the time you spend scrolling through other people's lives while neglecting your own. It might even mean restructuring your daily routine so that your priorities come first, not just the things that are easy or convenient. Sometimes distractions disguise themselves as responsibilities that were never yours to carry. You keep saying yes to everything and everyone, wondering why you never have time to pour into your own dreams. You were not created to be everything for everyone at the expense of your own purpose. If it's not aligned with where you're headed, it's a distraction, no matter how small or insignificant it seems. The truth is, focus is a choice. No one is going to hand it to you. You have to decide that your goals, your growth, and your future are worth more than temporary distractions. The moment you make that decision, everything starts to shift. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after motivation fades. It's easy to feel inspired when everything is fresh, when the excitement of a new goal fills you with energy. But what happens when that feeling wears off? What happens when you wake up and don't feel like putting in the work? That's where most people stop. They wait for the next wave of motivation to carry them forward, never realizing that success doesn't come from what you do when you feel inspired. It comes from what you do when you don't. Discipline is about showing up no matter how you feel. It's about making a decision once and then committing to it every single day. You don't negotiate with your feelings. You follow through because you made a promise to yourself. It's choosing to go to the gym even when you're tired. It's working on your business when no one is clapping for you yet. It's studying, practicing, preparing, even when there's no immediate reward in sight. Discipline builds consistency, and consistency creates results. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait until the conditions are perfect, until they feel like it. But if you only move when you feel like it, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle, starting, stopping, starting again. The truth is, real growth happens in the moments when you push past your excuses. Every time you follow through, even when it's hard, you build trust with yourself. You prove that you can be relied on, that you're not just someone who talks about change, but someone who actually does the work. And when discipline becomes your foundation, success stops being a possibility and starts becoming inevitable. You can't move forward while dragging the weight of your past behind you. No matter how much you try to ignore it, suppress it, or act like it doesn't affect you, unhealed wounds have a way of showing up in your life. They creep into your relationships, your confidence, your decisions. They whisper lies that tell you you're not good enough, that you'll never change, that you'll always be stuck. You can set all the goals you want, but if you don't heal what's holding you back, you'll always find yourself hitting the same invisible walls. Healing isn't about pretending the past never happened. It's about facing it, acknowledging it, and refusing to let it define you anymore. It's having the courage to ask yourself hard questions. What fears are controlling me? What beliefs am I carrying that no longer serve me? Who hurt me, and why am I still holding on to that pain? Healing requires honesty, and sometimes honesty is painful. But what's more painful is staying the same, repeating cycles that were never meant to be your story. Some wounds were caused by people who never apologized. Some pain was never acknowledged the way it should have been. But healing is not about waiting for closure from others. It's about giving it to yourself. It's about choosing to let go, even when the apology never comes. It's about deciding that your future is worth more than your past. Healing isn't instant. It's a process, a daily decision to release, to grow, to believe in the version of you that isn't defined by what happened to you. The moment you stop letting pain control you is the moment you step into the life you were meant to live. Not everyone will understand your journey. And that's okay. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're choosing to grow, why you're setting boundaries, why you're chasing something bigger than what they can see. Too often we waste energy trying to make people understand a vision that wasn't given to them. We look for validation in places that were never meant to affirm us. We try to justify our dreams to people who don't have the capacity to see beyond their own limitations. But your purpose isn't up for debate. And your decisions don't need approval. There will be people who question you, people who try to remind you of who you used to be, who bring up your past as if you're not allowed to evolve beyond it. Some will make you feel guilty for outgrowing them, for choosing a path that doesn't match theirs. But your growth is not a betrayal. Choosing yourself is not selfish. You don't have to shrink to make others comfortable. You don't have to explain why you no longer entertain the same conversations, why you don't engage in the same habits, why your priorities have shifted. Those who are meant to walk with you will understand without you having to say a word. Every time you stop to explain yourself, you give away power that should be fueling your next move. You don't need permission to become who you were created to be. Your path is yours and it doesn't require a consensus. Instead of wasting time justifying your choices, use that energy to keep going, keep building, keep becoming. The ones who truly support you won't need an explanation. And the ones who demand one were never meant to go where you're headed. Faith will give you the vision, but work will build the promise. It's one thing to believe that something greater is on the way, but belief alone won't bring it to pass. You can pray, you can declare, and you can dream, but without action, all you're holding on to is potential. God gives the blueprint, but He's not going to build what you refuse to pick up. Faith opens the door, but it's your work that walks you through it. Too many people are waiting on God to move when God is waiting on them to take the first step. Faith doesn't exempt you from effort, it fuels your effort. When you truly believe something is yours, you show up differently. You prepare for what you're praying for. You study, you practice, you build, even when there's no evidence that it's working yet. It's easy to trust when everything is aligning, but the real test is whether you can keep working when there's no sign of progress. That's where most people give up, not because they lack the vision, but because they weren't willing to keep pushing when the promise was still hidden. You don't have to choose between faith and work. They were always meant to go hand in hand. Faith gives you the confidence to start, but work proves that you're ready to receive what you're believing for. When you pray for opportunities, you should be preparing yourself to walk through the doors before they even open. When you ask for elevation, you should be building the discipline to sustain the blessing before it arrives. God will always meet you at the level of your effort. If you're willing to work like it's already done, you'll see doors open that no one else can shut. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are guidelines that protect your peace, your time, and your purpose. Too often, people feel guilty for setting limits, as if saying no is an act of selfishness. But the truth is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are constantly giving, constantly showing up for others while neglecting yourself, you will find yourself drained, frustrated, and resentful. Boundaries are not about shutting people down. They are about ensuring that you are in the right condition to show up fully for both yourself and those who truly matter. Not everyone deserves access to you at all times. Just because someone asks for your time, your energy, or your help does not mean you are obligated to give it. You are allowed to say no without feeling the need to explain yourself. You are allowed to choose rest over obligation. You are allowed to protect your energy from people who only take but never give. Setting boundaries does not mean you don't care about others. It means you care about yourself enough to not let people drain you beyond your capacity. Some will not like the new version of you that no longer overextends, no longer entertains toxicity, no longer prioritizes everyone else's needs over your own. Let them be uncomfortable. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions at the expense of your own well-being. If someone only values you when you are available to be used, then their presence in your life was never rooted in love but in convenience. Boundaries are a declaration that you respect yourself. They are a sign of growth. The people who truly belong in your life will honor them without question. Progress isn't always loud and success isn't always instant, but the key is to keep moving. Too many people stop before they even get a chance to see the results of their efforts. They pause when things get hard, they hesitate when fear creeps in, and they wait for the perfect moment that never comes. But momentum is built in motion. The longer you stay still, the harder it becomes to start again. Even small steps in the right direction are better than standing still, waiting for everything to align perfectly. You don't have to have it all figured out to take the next step. Clarity comes in the doing, not in the waiting. The mistake most people make is believing they need confidence before they take action, when in reality, confidence is built by taking action. The more you move, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more prepared you become. It's not about having all the answers today. It's about trusting that as long as you keep showing up, the path will become clearer. There will be moments when the progress feels slow, when the results don't match the effort, when it seems like nothing is changing. Those are the moments that test your commitment. Will you stop just because it's taking longer than expected? Or will you trust that the process is working even when you can't see it? Growth happens in the unseen. Every effort, every decision, every consistent step adds up. The only way to fail is to stop moving. Even if the step is small, even if it's uncertain, take it. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep going. What seems insignificant today is shaping the future that's waiting for you. Growth isn't just about the big moments, it's about the small victories along the way. Too often, people overlook their progress because they're so focused on the final destination. They believe success only counts when it comes in grand, undeniable ways. But real transformation happens in the little steps, the quiet moments of discipline, the choices no one sees. Every milestone, no matter how small, is proof that you're moving forward, and that deserves to be acknowledged. Celebrating small wins isn't about settling for less, it's about recognizing that change is a process. You don't wake up one day and suddenly arrive at success. It's built day by day, choice by choice, moment by moment. If you only allow yourself to feel accomplished when you reach the finish line, you'll miss the beauty of the journey. You'll always feel like you're chasing something just out of reach, never satisfied, never appreciating how far you've already come. That one workout you didn't feel like doing but did anyway. That's a win. That difficult conversation you finally had instead of avoiding. That's a win. That small step toward your goal, even if no one else does, that's a win. When you start recognizing these moments, you build momentum. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, someone who is committed, someone who is capable. Success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about learning to appreciate every step it took to get there. The more you celebrate the process, the more motivated you'll be to keep going. Waiting until the end to feel proud robs you of the joy that exists in the present. Every small win is evidence that you're growing, evolving, and becoming exactly who you're meant to be. Everything you're going through is shaping you for what's ahead. The problem is we want the outcome without the process. We want the success without the struggle, the growth without the discomfort, the reward without the work. But there is no shortcut to purpose. There is no skipping the seasons that refine you, strengthen you, and prepare you for what you've been praying for. What feels like delay is often divine preparation. What seems like a setback is often positioning. When you learn to trust the process, you stop resisting what is meant to build you. The process won't always make sense while you're in it. There will be moments when you question if it's even worth it, if anything is actually changing, if all your effort is leading anywhere. That's when faith has to step in. Trust isn't about seeing, it's about believing that every step, every challenge, every obstacle is working for your good. Some lessons can't be rushed. Some breakthroughs require endurance. And some blessings demand that you become a different version of yourself before you can receive them. You can't ask for greatness and expect an easy road. Growth will stretch you. It will test your patience, challenge your comfort zone, and force you to let go of what no longer serves you. But every struggle is strengthening you. Every delay is teaching you something. The process is never meant to break you. It's meant to build you into the person who can handle what you've been asking for. The sooner you stop fighting it, the sooner you'll realize that nothing is being wasted. The version of you that will walk into your destiny is being shaped in this very moment, and everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Everything you desire, every goal, every dream, every breakthrough begins with a decision to focus on yourself and commit to the process. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. It's about taking responsibility for your growth and showing up for yourself daily. The distractions will come, the challenges will test you, and there will be moments when giving up feels easier than pushing forward. But this is where transformation happens, not in the comfortable moments, but in the ones that demand discipline, resilience, and faith. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be, learning the lessons that will equip you for what's next. But the next level of your life requires a version of you that is willing to embrace the journey fully. That means setting boundaries without apology, silencing the noise that pulls you off track, and trusting that every step you take is leading you somewhere greater. It means healing the wounds that have been holding you back and refusing to explain your growth to people who were never meant to understand it. Your success is not about one big moment. It's built in the small choices, the quiet victories, and the consistency that no one else sees. Stay in motion, celebrate every step, and never lose faith in what is unfolding for you. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to keep going. The future you've been praying for isn't waiting for permission. It's waiting for your action. Believe in yourself, trust the process, and step boldly into everything you were created to be. This is your year, and it's time to walk in it with confidence. Thank you